Welcome to our deep dive, and today we're going to tackle something I think a lot of you have been thinking about lately, AI,
Yeah.
and what it all means for the future of university education, right? We've been seeing a lot of your comments, a lot of concerns about how things are changing, and, well,
Okay.
today we're going to look at whether these AI tools that everybody's talking about are just hype, or if they might actually be, the toolkit you've been waiting for.
Yeah, it's certainly a hot topic. There's no doubt about that. A lot of strong opinions out there.
For sure. And we'll be taking a look at piece called Herramientas de IA para optimizar el rol del docente, which basically translates to AI tools to optimize the role of the teacher. But before we even jump into the specific tool, I think it's worth kind of breaking down what we even mean by AI in this context, right? Because
Right.
it's more than just robots in the classroom, right?
Right. When we talk about AI in education, we're really talking about sophisticated computer programs that can, learn and adapt. It's not about replacing teachers, which is, I think, what a lot of people jump to, but it's more about giving teachers a really powerful set of new tools.
Okay, so less about replacing and more about kind of helping, assisting.
Hmm.
I can see how some folks might be a little skeptical.
Absolutely. And one of the biggest ways AI can help is by taking over those repetitive, time-consuming tasks that teachers often face.
Right, right. So instead of spending hours and hours grading papers, a teacher could use AI to do that more quickly,
Hmm.
and then maybe have more time for like one-on-one help with students. That's interesting.
Exactly, yeah. And AI can also be used to create educational materials like quizzes, lesson plans, which again frees up even more time for teachers to focus on what's really important, interacting with their students and helping them learn.
I see. So let's say I'm a professor teaching a huge intro to psych class, right? Could AI really help me give each student like a more personalized experience,
Mm.
even with hundreds of people?
Yeah, and that's where things get really interesting. AI can power what we call adaptive learning systems. Think of it like, you know how Netflix recommends shows based on what you've already watched? AI in learning kind of does something similar, but instead of movies, it's figuring out what you need to study next based on how you're doing in the class.
Wait, so the AI is like watching how I'm doing and then customizing what I learn next.
That's the idea, yeah. Platforms like Newton, for example, they use AI to track students' progress and then adjust the learning material accordingly. So if a student is struggling with a particular concept, the system can provide extra practice or even suggest different learning resources to help them grasp it.
Okay, so I'm starting to see how this could be really useful, especially for students who maybe need a little extra help.
Absolutely. And it goes beyond just providing extra practice problems, too. These systems can also suggest entirely different learning paths depending on a student's individual needs and goals. So, imagine a student who's really interested in, let's say, the social psychology aspect of your class. The AI system could recommend additional readings, videos, or even connect them with, relevant research projects happening at the university.
I see. So it's not just about keeping everyone at the same pace,
Hmm.
but it's actually letting people explore what they find interesting in the course. That's pretty cool.
Exactly. Yeah. It's about empowering students to take ownership of their learning, right?
Yeah.
And giving them the tools and support they need to succeed.
But wouldn't this kind of lead to some students only learning what they like and not necessarily what they need to know for the course?
That's a really valid concern, and it's definitely something that educators need to be mindful of. The goal isn't to let students completely dictate their learning path, but rather to provide more personalized and engaging experience within the framework of the curriculum. So it's all about finding that balance.
Right. That balance between structure and flexibility.
Exactly.
So the AI is kind of helping the teacher create that balance, taking some of the burden off their shoulders. It's almost like having like a co-teacher, but one that's really, really good at analyzing data
Hmm.
and figuring out what each student needs.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And this data analysis aspect of AI, I think, can be beneficial in so many ways. It's not just about personalizing learning, but it's also about understanding how students are learning as a whole.
You mean like
Yeah,
seeing what's working and what's not?
exactly. AI can analyze all sorts of data, like student performance on assignments, participation in online discussions, even how long they spend on certain topics. And this data can then help teachers identify areas where students might be struggling, or even highlight which teaching methods are most effective.
Oh, wow. So instead of like relying on gut feeling, teachers can actually see what's working
Yeah.
and make changes based on, real evidence.
Right, and it can even help identify students who might be at risk of falling behind, right? Allowing teachers to intervene early and provide extra support. It's all about using data to make more informed decisions and to improve the learning experience for everyone.
Okay, yeah. I'm starting to see how this AI stuff could be, I don't know, a real game changer for teachers, right? It's like having this super-powered assistant who's always crunching numbers and looking for ways to improve things.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. And speaking of superpowered assistants, let's talk about something that might sound straight out of science fiction.
Yep.
AI tutors.
AI tutors. So, like, instead of going to a human tutor for help,
Yeah.
you could talk to, like, a computer program. Honestly, that makes me a little uneasy, I have to say. I'm not sure I'd be comfortable getting help from a machine.
I understand the hesitation, I do. But think of it this way. AI tutors can be available 24/7, right? So they can provide that instant support whenever a student needs it. Plus, they can tailor their explanations to each student's learning style.
Oh, interesting. So, like, if I'm stuck on a math problem at 2 a.m., I don't have to wait until my professor's office hours to get help. I could just, like, chat with an AI tutor right then.
Exactly, yeah. And these AI tutors, they aren't just, spitting out answers. They're actually designed to guide students through the problem-solving process, asking questions, providing hints to help them arrive at the solution on their own.
Oh, I see. So it's more about, like, teaching you how to think than just giving you the answers. That actually sounds pretty helpful.
Yeah, that's the key. And as these AI tutors interact with more students, they're constantly learning, right? And improving their ability to explain concepts effectively.
But could an algorithm truly replace, like, the kind of advice and support you get from a human mentor? I'm just not sure a machine could really understand, like, the nuances of a student's struggles.
Well, of course, a human mentor brings, a unique set of skills and experiences to the table, and AI can't fully replicate that. But AI tutors can provide a valuable layer of support, especially for students who might not have access to regular tutoring or mentoring.
I see. Yeah, I can see how it could be a real lifeline for, students who are struggling or who might feel, I don't know, intimidated to ask for help from a human tutor.
Right, and let's not forget about the potential for AI to make learning, more engaging and fun.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, we talked about these tools being great for, like, making lesson plans.
Yeah.
But how do we actually get students excited about learning? That's where this gamification thing comes in, right?
Exactly. AI can be used to create personalized gaming experiences that adapt to each student's progress and learning style. Imagine, like a language learning app that uses AI to analyze your strengths and weaknesses, and then tailors the lessons and challenges to help you improve.
So it's not just about playing a game, but actually learning something while you play.
Right. AI can be used to make the learning process more interactive, more challenging, and ultimately more rewarding, right? And when students are engaged and having fun, they're more likely to retain the information they're learning.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. But wouldn't this just, like, create a generation of students who are addicted to screens and can't focus on anything that's not a game?
That's a valid concern, of course. And it's always important to find that balance, right? Gamification isn't about replacing traditional teaching methods. It's about using technology to enhance the learning experience. It's about, finding creative ways to make learning more engaging and memorable.
Right, right. And speaking of memorable, how does AI fit into, like, the whole picture of assessing what students have actually learned? It seems like it would be tough to get a computer program to understand things like, I don't know, critical thinking or creativity.
Yeah, traditionally, we've relied heavily on things like standardized tests to measure student learning, right? But those tests don't always capture the full range of skills and knowledge that students need to succeed, in the real world.
Right. Yeah, it's not always about memorizing facts and formulas. It's about being able to apply what you've learned to, like, solve problems and think critically.
Exactly. And AI is opening up new possibilities for assessing those more complex skills. AI algorithms can analyze things like writing samples, project portfolios, even student interactions in online discussions to get a more holistic picture of their abilities.
So instead of just looking at, like, a test score, we can actually see how students are thinking and applying what they've learned in different contexts.
Right. And this type of assessment can be incredibly valuable for both students and teachers. Students get more personalized feedback that helps them identify their strengths and areas for growth, and teachers get a better understanding of how their students are learning and where they might need to adjust their teaching approach.
That makes a lot of sense. But wouldn't it be easy for students to just, like, game the system if they know an AI is evaluating their work?
It's certainly something to consider, yeah. But AI algorithms are getting more sophisticated all the time. They're able to analyze data in ways that humans simply can't, and they're, less likely to be fooled by superficial attempts to impress.
Okay, so it's not about tricking the AI. It's about actually demonstrating your understanding and skills.
Exactly. And that's ultimately what we want, right? We want students to be able to think critically, solve problems, communicate effectively. And AI can be a powerful tool for helping us assess and cultivate those essential skills.
We've talked a lot about how AI can help students, but
Yeah.
what about the professors themselves? How can AI change their role in the classroom?
That's a great question. One of the biggest ways AI can help professors is by, freeing up their time.
Right. We talked earlier about AI helping with things like grading and creating lesson plans. What are some other ways AI can kind of take some of the burden off of professors?
Well, think about all the administrative tasks that professors typically handle, right? Scheduling appointments, responding to student emails, managing course logistics, AI-powered virtual assistants and chatbots can handle many of these tasks efficiently and effectively.
So instead of spending hours answering emails about, like, course deadlines or syllabus details, a professor could have an AI assistant handle those, like routine inquiries.
Exactly. And this frees up professors to focus on more meaningful tasks, like providing personalized feedback to students, developing new course materials, or even conducting research.
Right, right. So it's not about replacing the professor,
Yeah.
but about giving them more time and energy to focus on the things that really matter.
Precisely. And AI can also help professors analyze student data to identify trends and patterns that can inform their teaching practices.
Oh, interesting. So instead of just relying on, like, their own observations, professors can get, like, data-driven insights into how their students are learning and where they might need to adjust their approach.
Right. Imagine a professor being able to see, like at a glance, which concepts students are struggling with, which teaching methods are most effective, and which students might need additional support.
Yeah. It's like having, like, a personal data analyst for your classroom.
It really is. Yeah. It's like having this incredible resource that can just, slice and dice the data and give you actionable insights.
So it sounds like AI has the potential to really, like, transform the way professors teach and how students learn. But what about, like, the bigger picture? How is all of this going to change the future of universities as a whole?
That's a great question. And it's something that a lot of people are thinking about right now. One of the, I think, most exciting possibilities is the rise of what we call hybrid learning environments.
Hybrid learning, what exactly does that mean?
So it's all about blending the best of online and in-person learning. So imagine a course where, you can choose to attend lectures in person or watch recordings online at your own pace. You could participate in, like, live discussions with classmates from all over the world through, virtual reality platforms, or, work on collaborative projects using AI-powered tools that connect you with people who share your interests.
So it's like having this customized learning experience
Yeah.
that fits your individual needs and schedule.
Exactly. And AI can play a key role in making these hybrid learning environments actually work. AI can help personalize the learning experience, track your progress, and even connect you with resources and support that are specific to your goals.
That sounds amazing. But wouldn't it be, like, really hard to manage all of that? Like, how could a professor keep track of everyone's progress
Yeah.
and make sure they're all getting what they need when everyone's learning in all these different ways?
Yeah, that's a great point. And that's where the power of AI really comes in, I think. AI can help professors keep track of all the kind of different moving parts of a hybrid learning environment. It can analyze student data, identify patterns and trends, and even recommend adjustments to the course based on how students are doing.
So instead of feeling overwhelmed by all the, like, different options, a professor could actually use AI to make their job easier and more effective.
That's the idea, yeah. It's about using technology to empower both professors and students, right? And create a more personalized and engaging learning experience for everyone.
We've talked a lot about the, like,
Probably-
specific ways AI can be used in education.
Sure.
But stepping back for a second, what are some of the, like, bigger trends or changes that you see AI bringing about in, the future of university?
Well, I think one of the biggest shifts we're likely to see is a move away from traditional standardized assessments.
So, like, Less emphasis on tests and grades.
That's right. As AI gets better at analyzing, more complex skills like critical thinking and problem solving, we'll likely see a shift towards more authentic assessments, I think, that focus on, real-world applications of knowledge.
So instead of just memorizing facts for a test, students will be challenged to show how they can use what they've learned to solve problems or create something new or work effectively with others.
Exactly. And these assessments won't be, one size fits all. AI will help create personalized assessments that are tailored to each student's individual learning goals and progress.
It sounds like a much more meaningful way to assess learning than just, a letter grade on a test.
Right. And it's also more aligned with what employers are looking for in today's workforce, right? They're not just looking for people who can regurgitate information. They want people who can think creatively, solve problems, work collaboratively.
So AI can help bridge the gap
Yeah.
between what students learn in the classroom and what they need to succeed in the real world.
That's the goal. And I think this shift in assessment is just one example of how AI is likely to change, The landscape of higher education, we can expect to see, more personalized learning paths, more flexible and accessible learning environments, and a greater emphasis on skills that are relevant to the 21st century workforce.
This is all really fascinating. But I have to admit, part of me is still a little hesitant about all of this. It sounds great in theory, but
I wonder, are we losing something important if we rely too heavily on technology and education? What about, the human connection?
Yeah.
The mentorship, the inspiration that comes from, interacting with real people. That's a really important point. And it's something that we need to be very mindful of as we embrace these new technologies. The goal of AI in education should never be to, replace human interaction or devalue the role of the teacher.
So it's not about replacing teachers with robots, but about giving teachers new tools and resources to help them do their jobs even better.
Exactly. It's about using technology to enhance the human element in education, not to diminish it.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's about finding that right balance between technology and human interaction and using both to create the best possible learning experience for every student.
And I think that balance is going to look different for every institution, every professor, every student, right? There's no one-size-fits-all solution here. It's about being thoughtful, intentional, and always, putting the needs of the learner first.
I think it's a great note to end on. AI is a powerful tool that has the potential to revolutionize education in so many ways.
Yeah.
But it's up to us to use it wisely, ethically,
Yeah.
and always with the goal of empowering both students and teachers.
I couldn't agree more.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. It's been incredibly insightful. And to you, our listener, we hope this is giving you a lot to think about as you navigate this exciting and ever-changing world of education.
Yeah, finding that balance is going to be key.
Okay, but let's imagine we've got that balance right. What does the actual classroom look like? What does the university of the future look like with AI kind of woven into the fabric of things?
Well, one thing that I think AI is going to enable is a much more personalized learning experience for every student.
Okay, so truly personalized.
Yeah, think about it. AI can analyze a student's strengths, weaknesses, interests, and then create a learning path that's tailored just for them.
So no more one-size-fits-all lectures and textbooks.
Right. Students could have access to, customized learning materials, adaptive assessments, even AI-powered mentors that guide them along their journey.
Okay, so we've got personalized learning paths.
Yeah.
AI mentors.
Right.
What else?
Well, AI could also transform the way we think about physical spaces and learning environments.
Okay.
Imagine classrooms that are, equipped with intelligent systems that can adapt to different learning styles and activities.
So the room itself is kind of responding to the student.
Exactly. The lighting, the temperature, even the configuration of the furniture could all be adjusted based on, the needs of the learners and the goals of the lesson.
Wow. So the classroom becomes a dynamic, interactive space.
Yeah, it's really about creating an environment that's optimized for learning.
But with all this technology,
Yeah.
I keep coming back to this. What about the role of the teacher? Does the professor even need to be in the room anymore?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
And I think the answer is AI should augment the role of the teacher, not replace it.
Okay. So how does that actually work?
Well, AI can handle a lot of the, routine tasks, like grading, providing basic feedback,
Yep.
even delivering some of the, foundational content. This frees up the teacher to focus on higher level activities.
Like what kinds of things?
Things like, facilitating discussions, mentoring students, fostering critical thinking and creativity. The things that AI can't do.
Right. The human stuff.
Exactly.
So the teacher becomes more of a facilitator, a guide, rather than like a lecturer.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. The teacher becomes more of a learning architect, designing and curating experiences, and using AI as a tool to help personalize and enhance those experiences.
It's funny. We've been talking about this for a while, and I haven't even mentioned the word robot once. Because I think for a lot of people, AI still feels very futuristic and abstract.
It does.
But what we're talking about here, it's really about using technology to create a better learning experience for everyone.
That's right. It's about, meeting the needs of today's students and preparing them for the challenges of tomorrow.
I think that's a great place to wrap things up.
I agree.
AI and education, it's a complex topic, and it's one that's evolving rapidly. But I think what we've talked about today shows that AI has the potential to truly transform the way we learn and teach.
I couldn't agree more.
So to all of you listening out there, whether you're a student, a teacher, a parent, we hope this deep dive has given you some food for thought as we all navigate this exciting new world where AI is playing a bigger and bigger role in shaping the future of education.
Thanks for joining us.